So I'm using regular worsted weight size 4 yarn and a 4.5mm hook, and I started off with a 64 stitch chain, and then I put a stitch marker on the 13th, 23rd, 42nd, and 52nd stitch, like this. So if you're doing this in a different size, basically you want to have the same number here as here, and then half of that here and here. So I did 18 on the top, so that made 9 and 9 here, but then I put 3 extra stitches here so the buttons would overlap, and then I did 9 in here and 9 in here. So you can grow that number to whatever you want. Just put the same number here and here and overlap if you want it, and then half that number on each side. So when you work back your first row, I just did a single stitch. You can do something fancier if you wanted to. When you get to the stitch with each marker in it, you're going to put 3 stitches into that, and that's going to be your increase corner. And don't worry about that big gap, that will go away later on. So you can see I've got all 4 of the corners. And then for the second row, you're not going to increase or decrease or anything, you're just going to work back across it. Now, I decided to put my buttons on right after the 3rd row of gray for no reason, just to keep them spaced right. So I did 2 stitches, and then I did a chain of 3 and skipped 3 stitches and just reattached it. I think I only did 2 stitches here, but I ended up taking it out and making it 3, so the buttonhole would be bigger. So you just keep repeating that first row with the increases and the second row without until it's however long you want it, remembering to put your buttonholes in. And I think I did 5 rows of each color before I switched. I think I might have done 6 rows in a couple places, but that wasn't on purpose. So this is how far I've gotten. You can see it's starting to take shape now. Now the baby this is for is due in November, so it's gonna be cold. Now this is one of baby girl's old 3-month onesies. So neck hole's good. Biggest thing I like to look out for is make sure it's big enough for their arms. And I want this to be big enough to wear like a fleece sleeper underneath. So I think that's good. So next what I'm going to do is take this, I'm going to take it right up to the underarm corner, and I'm going to go right to here, and then start here and jump over, go around to here, and just go back and forth that way to just work down the body of it. And this is what it looks like as a flat piece. And I put the buttonhole in the same. Now I'm gonna stop here. I finished my gray stripe. I'm gonna hop to the sleeves now because where it's so small I'm gonna be turning it a lot, and I think it'll be easier to do that without all this bulk on my project. So I'm going to attach the gray back on here and start the arm. I'm attaching the gray to do the first sleeve here. when I attach something like this, I like to do a couple of slip stitches just to kind of ease it in so there's not a jar. And for the bottom where it changes, you can see there's this one thread in the front here going here and the one in the back going here. I'm going to go under this and then under this one and pick that up as one stitch. Like that. And then I'm just going to do my regular stitch and go around. Finish the sleeves. I decreased one and in the first row of every stripe, so I decreased 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 stitches total. I did, at the very end, I did 2 slip stitches just to kind of bring it down a little more gradual. I will work that in. I'll probably pause here and work all of these threads in because they're really going to be annoying now. And then I will reattach with the black and continue on the body. So pretty close to done. I'm going to finish off this gray stripe, but I wanted to film this next part while I had a chance to do it. I'm going to pick up right at this corner, go around to start the hood. I'm going to do 1 row of gray because I think there's 4 here, and then I'll switch to black. And I'm not going to do anything. I'm just going to go all the way around and back and go all the way to each edge, and that'll make the hood overlap a little bit. Okay, so I started on the front corner and I've reached this piece. I took the stitch marker out, which you could have done forever ago. I only use it for the first row. Now this one, I'm gonna go right through here. So you can see now there's a little bit of a gap where that pulled. But I think if I loosen that up a little bit, it won't be so bad. There. So I'm just going to do that on each of the 4 corners. And as I'm going around, I am going underneath both stitches there. So after I finish this 1 row, I'll switch to the black. I can take all those off now. I don't think I'll need to add any stitches, but if I do, I'll let you know. I've finished the hood piece. I didn't do any increases or anything for the hood. If I was going to do this again, I would probably go in a couple of stitches and start the hood over here, because where it overlaps it might get a little bit in the baby's face, but it'll also double as a scarf too, so it's okay. This one. So I've done 2 rows of the black. I'm going to cut off a length of the yarn. I'm going to take these and just sew it right up. It's all done. Got the buttons on. I think it came out pretty good. I think they're gonna like it. There's the hood. I did throw it in through the washing machine just to soften it up and make sure nothing is going to come apart. So there's kind of some spotty stuff on it, but I'll clean that all up before I give it to them. It does have this at the bottom. Normally you would block something so that flattens it out, but I don't know if blocking would come out in the wash. And I've never blocked anything. So you could put like one of those little hooky things. I think it came out pretty good. I have another one here that I made before. This one's quite a bit bigger. This fits baby girl and she's 18 months. So you can see I did all the way around on the bottom and I left a slit here. So you can see I went back and forth and then attached it here. So there's no little flip there, and then I put a lace. And I actually did that the first time because I wanted to make sure the hole was big enough for her head to go through, so this opens up. And the hood is way too big because I wasn't sure how big to make it, so that one's way too big. But it's been through the wash several times and it's held up well.